got student loans, but like I'm not even worried about it. Like I haven't even started paying it back yet. I'm out here living life now. My name is Ryan Camtron Cameron. I'm 33 years old, and I'm calling in from the city of Atlanta, Georgia. Shout outs to the A-Town.
Ryan, what do you do for a living?
What I do for a living, I am a creative. I'm an artist of many sorts. Shoot, that's a long breath of a sentence. I'm an actor. I am an animator. I'm an author. I am working on directing. I make music and stuff too. Model every now and then. Yeah, I'm just a fun-loving, optimistic guy. Yeah.
And then you also are an apprentice electrician still?
As of this week or two, no, I am not with the union at the moment. I am doing some data analytics right now. I'm doing for those who watch the podcast and are up on that type of tip. I'm an AML KYC analyst, so it's just like data stuff.
Okay.
More money was why I left. Yeah.
More money. Okay, so let's break it down. What is your main income driver then?
I haven't got paid from that yet. So, I mean, as of today, like we could still, go off of the electrician pay scale, so to say.
Okay, so electrician pay scale, how much were you making a month in that role?
I was with the union out here, the local IBEW chapter. I believe it's 619. I was taking the apprentice electrician program. I was saying all that to say they have it capped. It's like a program. It's like a 4 to 5 year program. And the first year, the apprentice electricians are stuck at $16 an hour. So you can do math on that. Yeah, a month I was making about like 630, 632, like after tax kind of thing.
A month?
Oh no, my bad. Sorry, a week. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was gonna say if you're working 40 hours a week, you should be making about 640.
Yeah, my goodness.
I was gonna say 600 a month would not be able to survive off of that
At all. You know what I'm saying? I would die. But yeah.
Okay, so 24-ish hundred a month in the ballpark. And this new data analyst role, how much are you supposed to be making with that?
This is more my speed too, which was another reason why I left. Because like I'm a computer techie guy. This is 27. So I want to say a week, that's like 1,080 before taxes, something like that.
And when did you start this role?
Just this Monday.
Okay, so four days into it then. And when is your first paycheck expected from that?
I want to say maybe next Friday, I want to say.
Okay, so that'll be a nice pay increase then, which is exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
And then all of the other side gigs, side hustles, creative work, how much would you say you make a month from those different opportunities?
Those are spotty. That type of gig work is spotty, like with the acting. I like that because it's fun. That's so spotty. Like,
give me a ballpark estimate. $500, $500, $1,000, $200.
They peak because like there's seasons when there's a lot going on and there's seasons when there's not.
Okay, then what about for a year?
I'm gonna go back to the month. Like if something's really going on, or like if there's like whatever, like maybe summer or like right up summer, and like you're active. Me personally, because I'm not SAG, so like only get like so much whatever. Like I might get like 160, 50, 160, 70, 80 a thing, and then some give you like 215, 235. But to answer your question, less than five a month. Yeah.
Less than 500 a month, so
yeah, but so spotty.
Okay. Hey, but it's extra income and it's doing stuff you enjoy. It's not bad to do that.
That's why I don't mind. Yeah, it's so fun to me.
$500 a month is better than $0 a month if you're enjoying it.
I'm with you.
Okay, so let's talk about your current financial situation then. On a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rate your current situation? 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing.
Believe it or not, man, I'm a hustler, man. It's not that way, but like I'm gonna always make sure that I have, I'm gonna say like I'm a good solid 7, even an 8, man. I'm not gonna lie to you,
Okay.
Yeah, I make a way.
Okay, well, if we are at a 7 or 8, I'm hoping we have low debt and are saving money.
I tend to save.
Are we going to retract that 7 or 8?
No. I'm sticking to it. I tend to save for like what I want / need, and then like I go that way. But hopefully, with this new gig, I'll be able to pocket more change and get back into investing and stuff like that. But I don't really even look at my debt like that, because really like all my debt is really just from like student loans. And like I told myself, like when I started school way back when, like I'm not gonna be one of those people who like, oh no, I gotta hurry up and pay off my student loans, and like feel like I have like this, looming thing over my head all the time. No, I want to be free and, live my life and breathe and enjoy. So obviously I got student loans, but like, I swear to you, I'm not even worried about it. Like, I haven't even started paying it back yet. So you know what I'm saying?
Let's just close the door, put lock it, and just hope that that the door never gets busted down.
Well, my reasoning for that is because like I said at the beginning, I do so much things. So like me personally, like I'm confident within myself. So I know like before God willing, before I kick the bucket, like I'll end up making it to where I want to be, and then I'll be able to just pay the student loan off like outright. Like, oh, you can have that, Yeah. So I'm looking at it that way. Like I'm not even like, oh no, I gotta hurry up and pay off my student loan so I can do this, that thing. Nah, I'm out here living life now, man. Like in a good way though.
I think that's a mentality to have. I don't think it's a mentality I would have towards it.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
It's a mentality, but I don't think I would just ignore it. I do think, depending on the interest rate, okay, maybe you don't pay it off as quickly as possible. Maybe there's other things you can allocate that money towards. But I wouldn't sit here and say, hey, maybe I'll make $1 million when you're not pay it off, because it's hard to do that.
Yeah, I am not a financial advisor. Do not take my money advice, take my motivation and optimism for sure, but I'm not a financial advisor.
He's got the motivation and optimism.
My strategy that's working for me. You do you.
Let's dive on that note. Let's dive into your debts. So what you put on the spreadsheet is, you said, a personal loan for $1,100, a student loans for $50,000, and then credit cards $3,000.
Quick story about the personal loan. The personal loan, I was gonna get 2 vending machines, have it like pay itself off like in like a month or two, right? But what happened was I went through like some company, which turns out kind of was like
a scam.
Yeah, not really the vending machine, because like it's not hard to get those. You can go on like Facebook Marketplace to find those for cheap, right? But the company was saying that they could find locations for you. So I was like, oh dang, like I'm willing to take that risk. Like that's a good gamble. I can, borrow 1,000 and then pay it off in like, a month, 2, 3 months or whatever. That's cool. That's an investment, because now that turns into, a profitable thing. Yeah, so the company ended up being like super scammy, man, and I took that L.
So did you pay them $1,000 to help you find location, and they just didn't do anything?
No, I got the 1,000. At the time, I was gonna get like one vending machine for like about 500. It was like a good vending machine, so I was like, oh man, that's a deal, right? I just had to go pick it up, right? That company wanted about like 500, but like you could start with like kind of 250 things. So I was like, all right, cool, here, bam, 250, right? And then they drug out for like a couple months, man. It went on for almost like a season, like almost 3 months. Like I was back and forth with them, and it was just a long, drawn out headache. And then eventually I was like, listen, I'm not giving you another cent. Forget you guys. That's it. And then.
So what happened to the vending machines?
I didn't get them. I didn't end up getting it because I didn't have a location to put it, which I'm glad. I'm glad I didn't get it.
So you took out a loan for $1,100. Where'd that money go then? You were given to this company, but then you didn't get anything out of it?
It's on day-to-day, living expenses, Yeah.
Oh, you used our living expenses.
But there was nothing else I could do. I couldn't find a location to do with it what I wanted. And by that time, like.
Why didn't you just pay it back?
Because by that time, like I said, it kind of got drug out over the course of like 3 months. So like I was hopeful up until like the end of like the 3rd month. I was like, man, this is just not going to work. Like I didn't already use like whatever, maybe like 200, maybe 300 of this loan money. I might as well just, use it as a personal finance loan and, try to do some other investing with it. I think I did. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure like I used some of it to maybe buy some crypto or something. And, the rest was just day-to-day living expenses.
Taylor, how's that crypto investment doing that you?
I'm a pretty savvy guy, believe it or not. I saw it, but I wasn't able to get in at the time. Bitcoin way back when in like 2009, like I wasn't able to put money into it, but I saw it. I was reading Forbes magazines way back then, and I was like, man, this idea just sounds smart. Like if I had, some money, I would put it. I was in high school then, but I said all that to say, I look at crypto as almost like a retirement fund. I'm not one of the guys like, I'll throw money in now and then I got to get out, next month because, oh, no, it's down, up. I know how stocks and bonds and et cetera work. I mess with Forex every now and then. That's my jam. Yeah, I look at crypto like that. Like I buy super low. Like me personally, I try to do my research and buy like things that seem like a utility or things that seem like they can be a utility in the future. And I'm buying them pennies on the dollar, buy a bunch of them, I leave it alone. So like I might put in whatever, like $20, $50 or something like that. And I got like a bunch of them. I'm going to leave them alone. I'm going to leave it alone until.
I'm all for experimental investing, a small percentage of your investment portfolio. I'm not for taking out personal loans and using that money in crypto and whatever. The other thing is Forex. You said Forex is my jam.
Forex is my jam. I love it.
How much money have you made for it in Forex?
About 1,000. I made 1,000 and I've lost like a little bit more than that. Yeah.
Okay, so if you made 1,000, you lost over 1,000, you haven't made any money.
Not all at one time, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, but like it's accurate because I think it's like 75 or 80% of Forex traders lose money and then like
too quick in seconds.
Yeah, I mean, it's mathematically against you. You're not going to make money. It's difficult to do. You can't control the markets. And same with day traders. Just like 90% of day traders lose money as well as trading single stocks. And it's like that is a high risk avenue to go after. There's a lot better ways to make money and less risk. You can't lose all your money if you put in an index fund. If you do, then the entire U.S. stock market's gone.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot lower risk, stable things to invest into versus, hey, Forex, trying to day trade, stuff of that nature. But we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Gotcha.
So looking at your debts, we have the personal loan, $1,100, student loan, $50,000, credit card, $3,000. Are those credit cards in collections now?
Those credit cards are like, well over a year old. Those are about 3. I've had about 3, about 1,000 each. Yeah, and like.
And are you paying anything on your personal loan right now?
I haven't. Everything's in collections right now. I'm in the process of like, fixing that back.
Right. We gotta make some changes then for this because I want you to have your financial peace and stability, but letting stuff go to collections. I mean, credit card companies are going to continue to call you, and then one day they'll garnish your wages and they'll get their money one way or another. And you can wait for that moment, or you can try to be proactive about it and save up. When you owe $3,000, you can probably call them up and say, hey, here's 50 cents on the dollar, and they'd probably take it.
Which generally, believe it or not, is and was my plan. Like by the time like it got like that far and stuff like that. Yeah, because which is another reason why like I made the switch to this new job, because I'm like, oh, I could hurry up and pay off.
You're gonna make a lot more money. That money needs to be saved up, pay off these debts. The personal loan and the credit cards, the student loans we can have a discussion about, but
I'm not worried about it.
The credit card and personal loan, those need to be paid off quickly because they're going to get their money.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that. And then in terms of assets, you said your car is worth $3,800. Retirement accounts, you said $400.
Yeah, that's probably just the Forex. Not Forex, the just all my investments.
Okay, all your investments, $400. And do we have anything in our savings right now?
Just like what's in my bank account kind of thing.
And what's in the bank account right now?
Less than a stack, but yeah. Today, just because, paying out life's expenses.
So you ended, well, I guess we'll dive in. You had $25 on June 30th. What's that balance right now? Is it higher or lower?
Maybe 100 or something. I got a home bill to pay like tomorrow. So that's probably going to go back down to $20. Who knows? Okay.
So a little bit lower. Okay. So that would put your total assets to $4,225. Total debt's $54,100. So put your net worth at negative $49,875.
I like those odds, man.
I like your odds because of your enthusiasm. I like your odds because of your energy that you can change this. If you put all your enthusiasm, energy into building a plan that can help you get out of debt, you'll be out of debt faster than anyone I know because you have the enthusiasm. You have the enthusiasm to do it. You have to have a plan to do it. And right now it seems like kind of running around aimlessly because you're obviously switching jobs, but you haven't cared about the credit card debt or the personal loans for years, haven't really done much about it. So it's like figuring out what is a plan for you to attack all of these and get out of debt, pay off debt, and build wealth, because I want you to build wealth. As long as that's what you want to do, obviously, which you said you want to make money. So we're going to talk about that today. What is a plan? Will you listen to it? I don't know, because you don't want to pay off your student loans. We'll have a conversation about that.
I didn't say I don't want to. I'm just saying it's not my priority.
Priority. Yes.
Yeah, I still got to get rid of the small debt to work before I worry about the super large.
Yes. Yeah. You got to take care of the credit card debt and the personal loan before you even talk about the student loan. But before we kind of dive into your monthly budget and monthly expenses, I want to learn more about you, Ryan. I want to understand where are you from and what was your childhood like growing up?
So my family's Jamaican. I was born in the Bronx, New York, 1990. We moved to South Florida, which was where I was raised in Fort Lauderdale and Miami. We moved there when I was like 6. I didn't move to Georgia until like 12th grade. So like whatever, like 2000, something like that. And then since then, I've been here because it is a big part of my story, and I don't mind sharing it because of how I've grown from it. I will explain that. When I was in high school, when I was in the 12th grade, I was going through my own, things or whatever, being a young man in my environment and stuff like that. I ended up actually being arrested, and I did some time. So I'm saying all that to say I did 10 years. Yeah, right. I did 10 years when I was in 12th grade, and I've been out since about 2020. But during that time, like, I treated it like college. Like, I did like a complete 360, man. Like, I started reading books. I started learning about finance. I started reading anything. I was digesting things. I was taking college courses and classes. So by the time I left, like, I was already like halfway done with my bachelor's in computer science. I had like a whole bunch of trade certifications, all type of stuff like that. So bam. So now fast forward to 2020, I got out, things good, blah, 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 blah. Things good now. I got out, and yeah, so I pretty much missed out on 10. So that's kind of why like the finances is spotty. I got out and I was doing my thing. I was following my method that I foresaw for like investing and stuff like that. Man, I went from having like no credit, which is like whatever, maybe like a 5 something. I went to like a 6, whatever, like a 640, 630 in like 3-4 months. Like, that was nothing's easy, right? And then I linked up with old friends or an old friend or whatever. Long story short, some, not disclosable stuff, whatever, but my credit started to go bad. You know what I'm saying? After that, you know what I'm saying? So really, that was it. Like, that turning point was really like it. And I was like, God, like, I should have just kept doing like my thing. Like, I had the mojo. I still have it. Like, I know what I'm doing. But like, since then, I just haven't went back and like willingly wanted to just pay like, $3,000. And then obviously, stuff compounds a little bit, right? I'm speaking about like financial debt though now. So so since then, I just haven't like wittingly saved up like whatever, like 3+ or like $4,000+ just to lump sum that and get that shape. But I do want to say this to you, because maybe you could shed some light, because like I said, I missed out on like 10 years, so I can only know like so much. I was under the impression and kind of like of what I've read and what I've been told, that like when stuff goes to collection, obviously, quote unquote, some say you shouldn't pay it or whatnot, but whatever, they have like up to like 7 years or somewhere around there before it falls off, kind of thing. Bam. So I was definitely not waiting for that long, but it went to the collections, and then I went and got like a credit repair thing, right? And I did it, and like I was like, okay, I guess it's just gonna go away, kind of thing. I'm saying. So I repaired the credit, but things were still in the collection. So I've kind of been there like since then. It's like, dang, like it wasn't really worth it, because that was what I was told when I was kind of speaking with my friend, like, oh yeah, you can just do this and then blah 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 blah. So I was like, all right, well, you can try, why not?
So my take with collections is a few things. One, you signed up for paying this money back, so morally or ethically, you're on the hook for it. Number two, however long it's been, you can draw it out as long as possible, but depending on the amount, $3,000 or $4,000, I would bet someone's going to buy that, and that debts get sold over and over again. Someone's going to buy it, and they're going to they're going to take you to court and be able to garnish your wages. And so you can do two things. One, you can do nothing and hope and pray they never garnish your wages, which they're going to figure out a way to get their money one way or the other. Or two, what I like is, how can you save up enough money to call these debt collectors that are calling you and say, hey, you owe $3,000, and you say, hey, I have 20 cents on the dollar. I owe you $3,000. Sorry, like, I can't afford that. I can give you $600 today. And you get that in writing. You don't give them access to your bank account, any of that, obviously, but you do it in a smart fashion, pay it off, get on writing that, hey, this debt's cleared. and that saves you $2,000. They might say no, and you might say, okay, well, call me back in a month. And then call back in a month, and you say, hey, here's $800. They say no, try again, $1,000 next month. But that's how I would go about if you have money in collections, because they're buying your debt for probably $100, $200, just cheap, and you can basically negotiate with them on the balance you're going to pay.
Should you pay the collections? Because like there's so much, back and forth about that like you shouldn't pay collections, because like they didn't, like, yeah, they might have like bought it from like the actual like company or like whatever, the debtor, for pennies on the dollar. But like, should you pay the collections or should you pay like the company like that you owe? You know what I'm saying?
Well, if you say you owe Visa $5,000 and they sold it to collections, if you go pay Visa $5,000, they're going to say, "Hey, we don't have this account anymore," so you can't actually pay them. You have to be careful about it, because sometimes there are bad debt collection agencies out there, and they will take more money than they're supposed to, or they'll be shady and say, "Hey, you never paid." So you do have to be very careful about it. Get it in writing, email, and make sure that the way you pay them is, one, traceable, and two, they don't have access to your bank account. Should be very careful about that. But yes, I would be paying the debt collectors, because you can negotiate with them. If you have a $10,000 credit card balance, you call Visa and say, hey, I want to pay you $6,000. They'll probably say, sorry, no. But if with collections agencies, you have the ability to do that. So definitely something that you can haggle, and you can play hardball too, frankly. I mean, you can, if they call you and say you have $3,000, you can say I have $500. If they say no, say,
I'm glad I watched this.
you say, hey, sorry, I don't have it. Try again next month. And you can drag it out as long as possible, and if you want. But again, I think morally and ethically, it's in anyone's duty. They sign up, hey, I'm going to pay this. You pay it one way or another.
You're right there. You're right.
Let's talk more about you. So when did you go to college, and when did you take out these student loans?
I started college, I want to say like the last year and a half, when I was inside.
Okay.
I call that time college as well. Yeah. So I got out of that college 2020. So I started I started my bachelor's 2019, and I finished 2023.
Okay. And that's where the $50,000 in student loans came from? And what'd you study?
I took computer animation and game design through LA Film School. Yeah.
Have you thought about putting that to use to go work for like a game studio or?
Mm-hmm. That was / still is like my goal since I got out. Since the 2020 to now, like I've learned so much things, and the world is a different place versus 2010 when I went in, right? So I said that to say, like, I've fallen into all these things that I said I do now. I act, I wrote a book, I model every now and then, I do this, the third. So I said all that to say, like, my like love and passion is still for like art and like designing, and at heart I'm a storyteller. So like I just want to like express that in like whatever medium. So I said all that. I've learned, especially after doing like the schoolwork and stuff like that, I see like what avenue within it I want to be. So I just want to make like, money to fund it the way that I want to now, versus like, doing the traditional way. Like, oh man, like I'd just be happy to, go work for a game studio. For sure, I would still love to, but like now, like my mind is like way more expanded now. Like I can make my own game studio now. You know what I'm saying? So like, why not, make money to do that? So that's kind of what I'm doing now,
Yeah, definitely agree. Definitely agree. You can definitely do it your own, but I meant more so if your goal one day was to create your own game studio, if you go work for someone else, you learn the ins and outs, and you get paid doing it while you're building your other thing on the side.
Why wouldn't you, right? All right, bam. So my answer to that was what I've been doing kind of up until just this last week when I got this job. My thing was like, all right, bam, like I already missed out on 10. Like everyone, quote unquote, looks better than me, like on paper, right? So I gotta have a bunch of skills and talents and stuff like that like I could show these people, so they'll pick me for those positions. I've been taking like all type of courses, man. I took a cybersecurity course certification at Georgia Tech. I got a bunch of things, man. That sentence itself is another long win. I got a whole bunch of stuff, but I said all that to say I was applying to places left and right. It would always get to the point where that like I'd get like into the interviews and stuff like that, and it would get like to like almost like the last round of like an internship with like a couple different companies. It's happened about 3 times already now, and it always ends up that like I don't get the position because I don't have the actual experience, like as far as like on job experience, where someone else, their resume might be this small, but they've actually been doing it for like a couple years. So they always end up choosing them. So that's, I'm like, dang, like it's just so hard. But I don't get like discouraged. I just keep trying. So then I just randomly applied to this job here that I got now, and they were like, hey, we like you, we'll give you a shot. So I'm like, please, like I just need some experience, so I can move on to that, So yeah.
No, that's good. And you can do this for a year, and then you can say, okay, I want to go do something else and apply to something else, and you can have a career change or different field or different things. And also while building stuff on the side, I think that's great just to get experience and exposure out there. So, okay. So did your parents growing up, did they ever talk to you about money at all?
Not to the extent that I would have liked. What I've learned, like growing up as a young man, I feel like a lot of the older generations too, and not to get into that, but I feel like it might even be more of like statistically, it might even be like a race thing too. I don't feel like a lot of minority parents, like of like our older generation, like me and you parents, they weren't really talking about it or teaching it to the kids being like us on down now. They weren't really teaching us that growing up. And then what I've been kind of like learning and seeing is like, as I experience and encounter different people through life, I think it's just because they didn't really know neither. Like they weren't really hip to the game as well. So me personally, I'm one of the people, like I take it upon myself to like, all right, I'm gonna educate so I can help educate them in what way I can, but more so I could teach my future kids and, my friends and on down. So yeah, but back to what you said, no, they didn't really, explain too much, just like the basics, just be a good person, get a bank account, don't blow your money, you know what I'm saying? Don't gamble it all the way on crypto type stuff,
Lack of education, for our parents is out there, and they knew, hey, I mean, they didn't have credit cards, student loans, and all that crap when they were growing up, like we do today, and so they can't teach what they don't know, and it just leads to a cycle of they don't know, so they don't teach their kids, and their kids get in worse debt because our generation served more debt products, more credit cards, and more student loans than any generation. So continue to get worse, more gambling and casinos and sports betting and online things that just are detrimental to financial health. I don't know I'm not a doctor, so I'm not giving people advice about health or being sick. So the same way as if our parents don't know about finances, they can't teach about finances. So that's why I started the show, because I mean, it all comes down to having more conversations about finances and helping people learn about their finances. What can they change? And they have to go and, like you said, talk to your future kids about it, your family, your friends, and that's the only way that we can kind of change this. But also at the same time, people have to be willing to take advice.
Exactly.
I try probably too hard sometimes to insert myself in people's financial situations because I know I can help them, but if they don't want help, then it just causes tensions or they won't listen because they don't. And I am very bad at that. And that's something I'm trying to improve at, but they don't want advice. It's hard to give advice that they'll listen to because they don't want to hear it. So even though I still insert myself too much in some conversations because if something's not good, I have to say something, but it's just tough. So
kudos, man. Kudos and congratulations. Hats off. Pop the champagne bottle to you for doing that, for taking the time, taking the mantle, taking the effort to do that, to turn, your page into what it is now. Like I watched a few videos and stuff and I was like, I like this guy. Like he's doing like what, someone should have been doing with us for like a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like I support you, bro. For real.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that greatly. I mean, I just get joy out of having people talk about personal finances and want people to learn and educate. And so you can change your family tree and just continue to push forward. So, but on that, we're going to dive into the good stuff. We're going to dive into your monthly budget now, and then we're going to dive into your monthly expenses. So let's start off with your rent is $250 right now. Are you living with other people or what's your living situation right now?
I'm staying with my family right now. My mom, dad, my little brother, and me. And yeah, it's like $250 to $500. I do what I can, I try to. It's normally $500, but like $250 to $500. I'm saying like when I have for the month, I thought.
$250 to $500. So probably go to $500 with this new job then, if I had to guess.
Oh yeah, for sure. They deserve that. I'm saying, for helping the kid out, why not? I got you. Deserve more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so $500 for that. We've got $250 for car insurance, $200 for gas, $150 for groceries, subscriptions $45, eating out $70, $30 for entertainment, $50 for shopping, fun money $195. So your total living expenses are $1,295. Is that where we're actually landing on a monthly basis, or is it more? Is it less?
I try to not like be cheap, like with things or whatever. But like as far as budgeting, so I guess that's not been cheap. I try to budget more often to, get things more concise so I can meet the next thing I'm saving for to fund that or pay that, so I can keep my machine moving.
What's your current budgeting process look like? Do you have a spreadsheet? Do you use an app, or how do you track your finances?
I don't have a spreadsheet. I know where they are. I just don't really log stuff for that because like I kind of keep it mentally, Yeah, like I kind of keep it like mentally.
See, doing it mentally is great until it doesn't work. And when there's dozens of transactions, you don't know how much money you spend on food, how much money you spend exactly on gas, how much spending money on shopping, and that's why I'm very particular. I mean, I used to use Mint. It got shut down. So now like a spreadsheet of like my last 10 years expenses, but now I use a new app called Copilot and love that. But that way I can log and see this is how much money we have left on food this month. This is how much money we spent last month on food. And I can definitely just have a better picture because, I mean, frankly, going out to eat and getting Chipotle or Chick-fil-A for $20, $30 doesn't seem much. But when you do it 30 times a month or 20 times a month, 10 times, it adds up. And so it's just very good, in my opinion, to be very mindful of that and understand where stuff's going so you can track your expenses.
You're right. Yeah.
Simplest level, at least, you need to know how much money you're bringing in and how much money is going out that month. And that's the simplest form of budgeting, and that helps you stay out of debt. Is if you're making $1,000, you can only spend $1,000. Otherwise, you have no money. But that way, at least you know the total income and total expenses is the simplest form of budgeting. But I like breaking it down in different categories so I can see, okay, we need to cut back, or hey, we have a trip coming up, or hey, we have car insurance coming up. We need to make sure we're saving money to be able to do that. So
prior to maybe like a year and a half ago, I was pretty good at it. Like even though like I kind of took that credit hit, I was still doing my thing. I was still doing good or whatever. And it's not that I'm not doing good now, but what it was since then I met a lovely young lady and we're actually married now. So that's what it is. It's like now, so my finances are a little, stretched now. Hopefully this new position will bring the boy back to where I need to be,
So your total living expenses, $1,295 is what we have on here. If you stick to that budget, then you should be making at $27 an hour, 40 hours a week, 4 weeks a month. You should be making $4,300 a month. So after taxes, probably in the ballpark of like $3,400. And so that means you should have left over, in theory, $2,100 a month. Obviously, there might be some taken out for health insurance, whatever it is. But that means within 2 months, you can save up $4,000 and call those collection companies and pay all that off.
Believe it or not, that's my hope and my plan is to do that.
I hope we have a conversation. I'm going to email you in a couple months and say, Ryan, please tell me this collections is paid off. It's been 3 months. You should have been saving $2,000 a month. What's the situation?
Yeah, for real, man. Because like that's really all I'm waiting for is just for that to go away. Then I can really get back into investing, like grow my credit again and start getting, some loans and, trade lines going on and stuff again.
No loans. Why are we taking out loans?
Not loans, I mean, but like get my trade lines up so that I can, shoot, I'm trying to play Monopoly out here, man. But yeah.
Trade lines, what are you doing?
When I fix my credit, I'm gonna keep growing my credit, eventually increase my trade lines so that I can use my credit to fund other things, Yeah.
To take on debt to do what though?
Property, like not necessarily just like random property, but like
so like investment property, like rental property.
Exactly.
Okay, I thought you were saying, hey, let's go take out a loan to start a business or do something. If you want to.
Oh no.
Okay, so I mean, I'm all for real estate as long as you do it smartly and you make sure you budget for everything and you make sure that you are not over leveraging yourself. I mean, if you are putting 20% down and you're cash flowing and covering all your capital expenditures, maintenance, vacancies, then yes, real estate can be a very fruitful thing. The issue is if you chase the Airbnb way that we've had for the last few years with high interest rates, a lot of people are finding themselves underwater on Airbnb properties, not cash flowing, and it can turn into a cost center versus a cash flow generator. And that's where you have to be very careful with.
Sorry not to cut you off, but why do you think that is that it's that for them?
Probably because of over the last 2 or 3 years, a few reasons. One, housing prices across the nation have soared because of low interest rates. And now with interest rates higher over the last 2 years, that makes not only the house prices a lot more expensive, but it makes the debt a lot more expensive. And so a mortgage on a house that might have been $3,000 might be $4,000. Or if you look at a house, I've looked at houses around me that we'll call it back in 2020, you could buy it in for $400,000 and your mortgage was 2,000 something. Now the houses are $600,000-$700,000 with a 7% interest rate. You're paying $5,000. And it's like, that's a spread of $2,000 a month. And people are chasing these get rich quick schemes on TikTok, on Instagram, saying, hey, go buy Airbnbs. Hey, go buy rental properties. And they don't account for vacancy because, hey, if you have a rental property, it's always filled, right? There's never tenants that are not in there. Tenants never destroy things. Things in the house never break.
Unheard of.
People don't account for those different expenses when running their numbers and find themselves in a hole. They don't say, oh, if you're buying a rental property, you need probably 10 or 15 grand worth of cash just sitting there. Because guess what? If an AC unit goes out, where you need to put it on a credit card and you're paying 20% interest rates on your credit card, that's not smart. And so I just think it happens with housing prices soaring, interest rates soaring, and people not running the numbers before buying rental properties finds them upside down on them. And it now in some markets like Austin or Miami, housing prices have been falling recently, and that's putting Airbnb people even more underwater on the equity in their home, which puts them in a more situation because they try to sell it, they're underwater on it. So I think that, and with Airbnb, so many more Airbnbs have entered the market on Vrbo, on Airbnb, which saturates it, which means it's a lot harder to get bookings and make money, which also affects it too. So I think it's just a combination of a lot of different economic factors, people not being fully educated about it, just seeing on TikTok and saying, hey, this is a good idea, but not understanding the ins and outs of taking on hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt to run a rental property. I think it can be very fruitful. I know people that have very fruitful rental properties. I also know people that are losing money, not cash flowing in their rental property. And personally, I wouldn't want to have rental property if it's not cash flow because I don't want to pay for someone else to live there. But
Expense, yeah.
That's why I'm all for improving your credit is good for the only reason credit is good is to leverage debt. And the only debt I personally believe in is for your mortgage, for your primary residence, as long as you're living below your means. And then rental properties, whether it's commercial or residential, I can get behind those if the numbers make sense mathematically, accounting for every single expense, and you have a good margin there that's supposed to cash flow. But whether it's buying a car, credit cards, carrying a balance on those, personal loans, HELOCs, I'm not a fan of those because typically there are a lot higher interest rates on it, and they just put you in further behind than further ahead. So credit score can help get you lower interest rates on things, but I don't think the goal should be let's shoot for the highest interest rate or highest credit score as possible to go leverage ourselves more. It should be how can you build wealth in a safe and sustainable way versus over leveraging yourself. And especially you're married now, you have your partner and you got to take care of that. You have kids, you can't be over leveraging yourself and put yourself in a situation where something bad goes wrong and you're over leveraged and it destroys your entire financial picture. So just something to be very careful about when it comes to your credit and it comes to that. And I'll send you a lot of resources more about it too. But in my opinion, I think the credit score is over glorified in America, and people are taught, hey, go take out on a $60,000 car loan because it will build your credit, or go take out a HELOC because it will build your credit. And it's like, I can promise you financially, you're 10 times better off not doing that and living below your means and do that. So, I mean, I have a friend that has a 13% interest rate HELOC. And I'm like, if I could get a guaranteed 13% rate of return on my money, I would do it. And by doing that, I'd say I'd pay off the HELOC, and he won't pay off the HELOC because he's like, oh, I can earn more money elsewhere. I'm like, you might be able to hypothetically, but what risk does that come with? And you have your house tied up. If you don't pay off that HELOC or you default on it, your house is gone. It can just lead you to bad situations. So any thoughts on that?
No, I soaked it all up. That was the question I asked. You over answered it, thank you.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into the monthly transactions then. So you sent over your bank statement during this time period. You had $1,115 come in. You had just under $1,200 go out. So you ended the June 2024 statement with $25 in your bank account, which, being married, having kids in the future, this is not a spot I want you to be in. I want you to be in a spot where you have cash in the bank, debt paid off, because guess what? You're going to have tire issues one day in your car, or your wife is going to have issues with her car, or something's going to break, or a medical emergency, and you need to have cash in your bank account to be able to pay for those things and not go into debt so you don't have to worry or stress about it financially. And that's what finances does. It brings peace of mind. If you have money in the bank account, then saying yes to that surgery, yes to that doctor's visit, or yes to those tires can save your life, can make you feel better, and take the weight off of that. Or if a family member is sick in a different state, hey, you can afford to go on that plane to go see them because you're not stressed about the finances. And so that's what, in my opinion, money does, is it helps alleviate a lot of that strain when difficult situations come in life, because inevitably in everyone's life, they're going to have a roller coaster. They're going to have curveballs thrown at them, and money helps with the peace of mind and helps kind of alleviate some of those stresses that life throws at you. So
Right.
So during this time, let's look at some of these transactions, see where are we spending our money. We got Walmart, we got Adobe, we've got Citgo, we've got BP, we've got Amazon Digital Services for $8. We got more BP. We got Taco Bell for $7. Publix. I mean, these are all small transactions. Conyers store for $15. McDonald's for $15. Walmart for $16. Publix for $13. I'm waiting for a big transaction, but these are all just small little transactions. Zaxby's for $11. We've got Amazon rent auto purchase for $31. What was that?
I don't know. Auto purchase. I don't know. Maybe something for the car. Would have to be. But for $31? I don't know.
So Amazon rent auto purchase. If you Google that.
Oh, I bought something from my car. I bought like a seal for my car. Like a seal for
So that is a transaction that
my seals were leaking, like for something.
So I would double check your Amazon account. I Googled just Amazon rent auto purchase, those exact words, and Google tells me that's a scam Amazon profile. So I would check that, make sure it matches up with the transaction on Amazon. It might, but just my quick Google search of Amazon rent auto purchase, that said it was a scam. So just double check that.
All right, sure.
I had another guest before that had like $400 or $500 worth of some similar like that on Amazon, and they couldn't match up to another account, and they realized it was a scam. So just something to look at and make sure you're safe.
Okay.
We got other stuff on here. I mean, it's all small stuff. Spotify for $6, Golden Corral for $14. We have another Amazon for $39 and another Amazon for $10 on June 13th.
Yeah, I see it now.
So that might be the car stuff. We're getting more eating out for $24. So, I mean, these are all small transactions. Most of them are under $20. Oh, wait, what is Amazon for $201 on June 22nd?
My rack and pinion. I needed a new rack and pinion for my car. And instead of paying $400 in store, I was like, shoot, I'm gonna see if I can find a good one online. And I asked my mechanic, like, should I buy this particular one, like aftermarket, or is it not like recommended? He was like, yeah, this type of part you could buy that.
Saving some money on your car repairs then.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, all right, bam. So if anything, I saved, at least.
I respect that. I respect that there. Okay, I was hoping it wasn't gonna be Xbox games or a TV or something.
I buy those at GameStop. I'm saying I play all the used games. I'm playing.
Whataburger $12. Golden Corral again for $42. Macy's for $53. Whataburger again for $17. JJ Fish and Chicken for $14. So like a lot of these, like I said, these are small transactions. But if you budgeted and understood and categorized these by eating out food, you'd be shocked on how much money you actually spend on food every single month, because there's dozens of those transactions, but they're all small little transactions.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think it's very important to categorize stuff. So you can say, okay, I have a budget for $200 this month for food, or $250 or $300, whatever it is. And that way you kind of have a pace you can go at. Yeah, an estimate. And it's like, okay, we have $100 left in the month and we're only halfway through. Guess what? That means we probably shouldn't eat out this weekend. It means we should eat in, go to the grocery store and do that. But that's something you just have to be mindful of, and helps give you a better picture for your finances, so you can tell your money where to go, versus right now, if you're not tracking it, it's just disappearing and you have no idea where it's going. And the thing you have to be very careful about is you're having a significant pay increase, going from 16 an hour to 27, and which is awesome. But the number one reason people are still broke in America is lifestyle creep. They go and get that new pay raise, they go and get that new job, but they don't track their money, they don't track their expenses, and that money will flow out just as quickly as it comes in. You can go from making $1,000 this month or last month to $3,000 after taxes this coming month, and all that money could disappear because you got a new pay raise. So you're going to go and buy a new TV, and then you're going to go treat your wife to a spa day, and then you're going to go on a vacation, and then you're going to go buy X, Y, and Z. You're going to go to a steakhouse, and like that money will be gone so quickly if you do not track your expenses and be intentional about your money. So that's why, especially with pay increases, you need to be very mindful about that. You need to live like you are making $1,000 a month, live the same as this budget we have, and then you'll have $2,000 a month to attack this debt. And then when you get out of debt, then you can start okay, let's throw $500 towards stuff we enjoy, or $1,000, and the other 1,000 we'll throw towards investments. And then you can start splitting up some money that way and enjoy it a little bit more. But that's just one thing you have to be very careful about with the new job and pay increase is you have to be very intentional about your money. Otherwise, you're going to wake up a year from now and be like, I'm making twice as much. Where did all my money go? It's the reality a lot of people live in is they get the pay increase and they wake up a year from now and it's gone. And 49% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, making over $100,000 a year. And that's not an income problem because, I mean, those same people can go look in their neighborhood and find someone making less money than them that are not living paycheck to paycheck. It is a choice to ignore your reality. It's a choice to ignore your finances and not tracking your financial situation and letting lifestyle creep get the best of you, whether you're financing a new car or buying a bigger new house or going on a new fancier vacation. So it's something you have to be very mindful of as you take on this new role and start getting those new paychecks coming.
Appreciate it. I sure will.
Awesome. Well, what do you think, Ryan, what do you think your biggest financial mistake you've ever made is?
Since I got out of college, 2020, that situation with the credit, and I did that thing, and then, you know what I'm saying? And since then, because like I was doing good, like on my own, you know what I'm saying? Like I went from having no credit to like a 640, 650, and like from August to December, like that junk shot up from nothing to like 650 in no time. And I was like, oh, this is easy. Just follow, the steps that I've been reading and learning and, so forth and so on. And then did that with the homie, and I was like, oh man.
And now that card's sitting in collections and a dime hasn't been paid on it.
Yeah. Like I said, I just hadn't, like, at those times too, like I was working like smaller paid jobs too, like whatever, like $18 an hour type stuff, right? And maybe like at one point in time, like 20, and then like I went back down there. Yeah, so like I didn't have the influx of money to be like, oh, if I just save up, for a month, I can just pay it all off. No, like that would have been like, hey, you got to save up for like 2 months, and it's like you still got like all your day-to-day expenses and all the other stuff.
And then you got the temptations of eating out and having fun and all those other things the money goes to as well. It's hard. It's not easy. It is hard to pay off debt and to get out of debt, but it is also hard having no money in your bank account and being in debt for the rest of your life too. And so it's kind of one of those opportunities you have to choose your heart. Is it hard for the short term paying off the debt, or is it hard for the rest of your life living paycheck to paycheck forever and always being stressed about finance?
Yeah, like during that time, I was like, all right, cool. Well, I don't mind holding, myself in a little bit so I can, finish up some of these extra like courses and school stuff so I can land a better job to get the upgrade that I am looking for. Then, I can get back to flying flapping my wings how it's supposed to be, right? But that didn't happen until like literally just like this Monday. And really and truly, like I'm still shooting bigger than that.
Yeah, keep shooting for the stars, keep climbing, keep growing, keep making more money.
Because I know what I'm worth. You know what I mean? I'm worth a lot. You know what I mean? And, yeah, I want that.
So what I would do if I was you right now is a few things. One, stop credit cards. Obviously, you have ones in collections, but don't be using credit cards right now. It just is not good for your situation. It allows you to spend money you don't have. Number two, budgeting is very important, especially with this new job. You need to make sure you're sticking to a budget and you're living like you did not get this pay increase. Stick to the budget, $1,300, $1,400 a month. And everything on top of that, you need to save up so that you can pay off these debts as quickly as possible, especially the personal loan and the credit card. So I'd be saving up for 2 months on those. Make sure you have $4,000. And then from there, you can then start calling the collection agencies and say, hey, offer them pennies on the dollar. And if they don't buy on it, okay, we'll just set that in a high yield savings account until they call back next month, or until you call them again next month and offer them a little bit more. So that's what needs to be attacked first with the budget with this new job. And you should be able to do that in 2 months. Saving $4,000 should be easy to do in 2 months. Once that's paid off, you get to decide on the student loans. I know you don't want to do anything about it, but at least...
I'm just going to give you the bare minimum.
At least do this for me. One, figure out what is the interest rate on it and what is the minimum payment, because that will decide a lot of things. If the interest rate is 7-8%, it probably makes more sense to pay them down. If the interest rate is 3%, okay, then we can skip to the next step, which is investing. So that's something you have to do, is figure out, okay, I'm sure they probably switched providers in the last year or two. So figure out who's...
They're still the same. They're like Ed Financial, I think. But I was saying that to say I'm had to start paying them yet, though, was why I didn't pay them yet.
So I guess are they not starting now since you're after 6 months of graduation?
I don't know. I think I like applied for like something else afterwards, but like I've been more than 6 months. I've probably almost a year, or maybe even more than a year now.
Okay, well, log in and double check.
I do. Like they send me like updates like every other week or whatever, and like I look at like, oh boy, is this the day? And I look, and it still says I don't owe nothing. It still says $0. So I'm like, okay.
Well, look and see, just keep track on that and figure out the interest rate on it. That's the most important thing, is what is the interest rate on it, so you can understand the next steps there. You also need to, once you have the personal loan and the credit card paid off, you need to build up an emergency fund. Do you know what an emergency fund is?
Yeah, look, nest egg, yeah, for sure,
Yeah, three to 6 months of expenses, because guess what? Your car's going to break down. Your wife's car's going to break down. Something's going to happen. You need 3 to 6 months of expenses for a rainy day. You get laid off, whatever. And then after that, then we can start investing. You need to figure out, does your work have a 401k? Do they have a match? What do they offer there? Make sure you get the match if they do, once you're out of pay off the credit card debt. Roth IRA, great options as well.
Yes, I can't wait to get it back into that. You know what I'm saying?
Get into that and start investing in the future. And we'll play a little simulation for you and just see where will you be. So say you start investing when you're 34, when's your birthday?
I'm 34 in October.
Okay, so this is perfect situation, because you're going to have all the personal loans and credit cards paid off by then. So 34 years old and investing for the next 33 years until you're 67. If you just max out your Roth IRA every single year, $7,000 a year.
6,000, right? Yeah, something like that.
Yes, at 7,000, right? Yep. So if you max out for the next 33 years and you average return of 7% over the next 33 years, do you know how much money you'd have when you're 67?
Not off the top of my head.
Give me a guess.
500,000?
$900,000. And that'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's great.
It's a heck of a lot better than having no money. And if you instead of doing 583, you say you do your entire Roth IRA, but then you do like an extra $400, so we'll just round it $1,000 a month in a taxable brokerage account or your 401k, then you got $1.5 million.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. And that goes to show, as you start early and often, then you set yourself up for success. If you only do the 583 and you don't start until you're 50, you only have $227,000. So by waiting to take control of your finances, if you push it off 15, 16 years, it's going to cost you $700,000. And I don't think you want to retire with $200,000 when you're 67, when you have the opportunity to retire with close to $1 million just by maxing out your Roth IRA. So that's very important. The other important thing when it comes to investing is, I don't care if you want to play around with 5% of your investment portfolio in random cryptocurrencies or whatever you want to do. I don't have a problem with that. If you're trying to do 100% of that, I think that's a horrible idea. But I'd be saying, first and foremost, make sure you're maxing out your Roth IRA, your 401k match, attacking those first, setting yourself up for success to get to where you want to be when you're 67 or 60 or even 50. And then you can start playing with fun money on the side. Don't gamble. Don't do that crap. Or FOREX trading. You're going to lose money in that. But make sure you're setting yourself up for success there, especially just investing in index funds. You know what index funds are?
Yeah. Yes.
Big baskets of stocks. Don't do single stocks, do index funds. If you earn the average return of the stock market 7 to 10%, you'll be sitting pretty in 30 years. If you screw around and wait or mess with single stocks and you're not the next Warren Buffett, you're not going to have as much money, and that's not going to be as fun. So any questions on that?
No, I'm soaking it up, man. Trust me.
Awesome. Ryan, what is one piece of advice you'd give to someone in a similar situation as you right now?
Ooh, take your time and stick to your plan that, you have created for your future. Don't deviate. By the time you get that thought like out of your head and all right, this general scope, spectrum, this direction, of what I want to do with my life. And I guess we're speaking about financially, is what I want to do. Stick to it. You know what I mean? Like you just said, work on your budgeting, which really is everything, I guess. Try not to deviate from your plan and work on your self-discipline of sticking to the budget of that. But
100%. Awesome. Well, the last thing I'll say is, you rate yourself, was it a 7 at the beginning of the show? 7 or 8?
It's been a 7, 8, you know what I'm saying? As far as what? You know what I'm saying? Because anything else I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
In terms of finances, I would not put you at a 7 or 8. I'll put you down at a 4.
On paper, it looks like that. But like you said, I know what I can do, you know what I'm saying? And I've crawled out of a hole. I know what I can do.
The new job will take you 2 months to pay off the personal loan and credit card. So I'll bump you up to a 5. And then once we understand what's happening with student loans and we have an emergency fund built up, we're at a 6. And once we start maxing out our Roth IRA, paying down these student loans, we're at a 7. Once the student loans are paid off, you're moving up.
You want to have stingy numbers.
I'm just being honest. I think you have your enthusiasm, your excitement is a 10. The finances need a little bit of tweaking. They just need to be course correct a little bit, and you will be well on your way to being a 10. I've seen you don't have $50,000 worth of credit card debt. You don't have $200,000 worth of student loans. So these are manageable things that you can do. It's just tweaking them to get to where you want to go. So awesome. Ryan, do you have any last words today?
Thank you for the opportunity. Once again, congratulations to you, man. Bailey, you're doing great things out here. We wish we had, more people willing to, sit down and have these talks when we were younger, when me and you were, in our youth. I'm sure our parents wish, they were on that time back then too. But so yes, thank you for that.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy Cam Tron at 54, and I'm back checking in with the homie Bailey again. He's got some questions from me. How is the new job going? The new job's going great. I'm a data analyst out here in Atlanta, and yeah, just, stacking my chips. What was your key takeaways from our discussion? My key takeaways from the discussion was really just motivation, to keep doing what I'm doing and definitely to get out of debt so, we can start to make the empire. What surprised you the most about our conversation? The thing that surprised me the most about our conversation was how cool and how down to earth Bailey is. I really like what he's doing for the space and just in general. Like I really support and stand behind that. Someone is willing to speak out, help teach and educate us or something like that. That's cool. What actionable steps do I plan to implement or have I started? I have started just by finding the people that or the companies that have my credit and my debt and stuff like that. Eventually I'm going to pay it off and be free of my debt and get back to investing and playing Monopoly here. Did you experience any mindset shifts? I would say yes, but I feel like I was already thinking that way. But yes, I definitely did. Bailey is a very good motivational speaker, and he helped encourage me and motivate me to stay on my path. What is my top goal to change my financial situation over the next 30 days? 30 days, I would say just to stack my paper, stack my money, stack my chips, and so I can pay off the debt, that I need to pay off and, get back to enjoying life. And what is my top goal to change my financial situation over the next 90 days? I would say the same thing. Just once I get free of my debt, which is not even that much, maybe like 4,000 tops. Yeah, once I'm clear of that, invest, play real estate market, get some property, do that thing, get some renters, income coming in, some good passive stuff. But yeah,